Welcome to lecture 4.5 of an introduction to computer science with Python. And today this will just be a review on everything that you've learned so far, just to make sure that you didn't miss any important concepts. But before that, I'm going to introduce something. I made a Google form, and this is designed for me to receive feedback on the lectures that I make, because I'm just one person and I don't know what my problems are, and I would like to know what they are so that I can fix my lectures and make them better, more enjoyable, or more clear. And I would like to do that with the feedback that I get from you, the students. So for example, am I going too fast, too slow, too confusing on some topic? Please use the Google form and help me out. Any student or parent can fill out the form, and you can choose a specific lecture or all lectures. The form is anonymous, and you'll find it in the video description of, I believe, any of these lectures below the worksheet. Just a quick disclaimer. If any of the following slides are unfamiliar to you, go rewatch the lecture it was featured in. For reference, lecture 1 was just setup and print. 2 was more on print, expressions, and variables. 3 was on variables, name error, and comments. 4 was on input, the command line, and escape characters. And I'm just going to review everything, so the gist of the basics. Expressions can be things like numbers or strings. Strings are like words, etc. They are values. To show expressions, use print and put the expression inside the parentheses. For example, print, and then inside the parentheses, you have a string. Strings are surrounded by quotes. Hello world. To give expressions a container, use variables with whatever the variable name is, equals, and then whatever the expression is. The expression inside the variable name could change, and variables are like boxes in the computer memory. They have a label, which is their name, and the thing inside the box can be changed if you want it to. For example, count equals 0 and name equals Ben. There's more basics continued. When you show variables and expressions with print, if I want to show the number 5, I would say print 5. And if I have a variable num and num equals 5, if I say print num will give me 5. And that just means that when I use print, I look at num and I see what's inside of that box, and I will get the number 5. And this will be important later. The gist of math. The use of math in Python is the same as in math class. You got addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Multiplication is with the star, which is shift 8, and division is with the slash, which is next to the right shift key. And division is a little bit different in that if you say like 4 divided by 2, it'll give you 2.0, not 2, and that'll be also important later, and I'll teach you some more related things. Math continued. For the most part, math can only be done from int to int, like 5 times 2, meaning only numbers. However, adding strings together is about what you would expect. It would be like putting 2 puzzle pieces together. For example, in the string he plus the string LLO would give you hello, just because you're like putting the puzzle pieces together. There's no space in between. Also, you can multiply strings to a number. For example, the string hello times 3 is going to be one big string containing hello, 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 because it's hello 3 times. The gist of comments. You should know what a comment is. If not, refer to lecture 3. And a comment on only one line begins like this. And this is a pound, which can be done with shift 3, and which can be on its own or after a statement like print. And what I mean by this is that you can, everything after the pound is only for the coder or whoever reads the code. The Python does not care what is after that pound. And the pound can be placed after a statement, for example, print. It can also be placed on its own line by itself. And then if you want to have a comment on multiple lines, that begins with 3 quotes and ends with 3 quotes. And by quotes, I mean double quotes. And double quotes are done with shift and then single quote. By that, I mean shift and then that key to the left of the return key or enter key. And you do that 3 times to start the comment on multiple lines, and you end it with 3 double quotes so that the computer knows that you're done. It must be on its own, not after a statement like print. For example, you can't start these 3 double quotes at the end of a print statement. It doesn't work like that. You have to have it, you have to have this on its own, not after a statement. Similarly, you can't put print right after the ending thing on the same line. The gist of input, if you don't know what it is, you for sure should, because this is a very necessary topic. To get words or numbers from a person, use input with open, close parentheses. If you want a prompt, like to tell the person what to do, you would put that as a string inside the parentheses. For example, name equals input, and then open parentheses and close parentheses. And then inside you have a string called enter your name. What this will do is that it would print enter your name, and then it would ask the user to put in their name. And then that value will get stored inside of this name variable. I explained that here. For example, if I typed Ben in the above example, the name would point to the value or expression Ben. If you're going with a box example, it would have the string Ben inside the box. By the way, if you don't know what strings are, go back a few lectures. I don't know exactly which lecture strings were featured in, but they are also extremely important. Everything here is very necessary for your growth as a coder. The gist of escape characters. So to create what's similar to pressing the return key like this. So I went here, I pressed the return key and I went here. To get that in a string, use \n. And this \n will be shown as a character in a string, just like the word hello. And to create one actual backslash, use \\. To allow the computer to ignore a letter being the end of the string, use \double quote. For example, if you have dialogue, like a string that says he said hello, and you want the hello in other quotes, then you would have this so that the computer knows that you don't want to finish the string just yet. And these are the important ones for now. The \/ keys, most of them are called escape characters. And if you want more, use Google. The command line. If you want to test maybe only a few lines of code, the command line is the place to go. A few differences. Each statement is evaluated immediately after you hit enter. For example, if you want to say print hello, and then on a new line you say print world, if you ran that in a normal code, it would print them at the same time. But if you're doing it on the command line, when you say print hello, it'll immediately give you hello. And then when you print world, it'll give you world immediately. So that's a big difference. And that's also, you can't save your code. So it's just like a quick test for anything. You don't want to write a tic-tac-toe game on the command line. That's not a good idea. Leaving expressions and variables on their own is usually ignored by if you're writing normally, but on the command line, it'll print the expressions for you. And that's it. I went pretty fast because that's by design. Because if I'm going fast and you don't understand, that means that you need to go back to some lectures and rewatch if you're confused. Anyway, that's been it. Have a good day. I'll have the next lecture coming out pretty soon as well.